Hi there, folks. Today I have a real special guest with me here today, and this has all just kind of happened out of the blue. And so Jim and I are going to give this a try. But Jim all of a sudden showed up, and he's here and available. And I want to get him to tell us some stories about hunting, fishing, and trapping, and living the lifestyle back in the old days. Folks, we got a neat opportunity here. I'm an experienced outdoorsman. I've been a hunting guide, and I lived and worked and hunted and trapped out in the bush. But it's not, I always say it's not the real deal like the generation before that actually lived out there. I do my trapline, but I come home in the evening. I got my fancy snowmobile. I could make it all the way home in the evening and have a nice shower and hot meal. The generation before had things a lot more difficult. And that's what I want to hear about today. I'm so excited to have Jim with us. So without any further ado, let's turn it over to Jim. He's going to tell us a little bit about his life in living and working, trapping in northern Alberta. Jim.
Awesome.
Thanks so much for being here with me.
Yeah, it's good to see you.
Right on.
Yeah. Spencer's asked me to talk about stories of my evolution as a trapper, and so we'll proceed with that.
Yeah, nice.
I think the first thing that kind of comes to my mind when I was a kid, 9 or 10 years old, there was a rat slew out the back door in a small town. So every spring, me and the dog would go and we'd chase rats with a 22,
Oh, yeah?
Catch rats or shoot rats, and the dog would go get them, and I'd bring them home, and Dad would, get rid of the hides and fix them all up, and pretty soon the old man's got a full-time job in the backyard there looking after the stuff that me and the dog are bringing home. Guess what? The fur truck come, and I made more money than the old man in 2 weeks. So
Really?
that kind of got me started when I was really young, and we moved on from there. It wasn't until I was probably 50 years old that we got the opportunity, after living in Fort McMurray since 1969, and the trapline came available because I'm a river rat at heart.
Yeah.
I've got 7,000 hours of river boating in my career.
Right on.
So
Yeah.
anyway, friends that we made on the river were going to retire, so we had the opportunity to buy a trapline that was in a beautiful place, and
on the river?
yes,
On which river was it?
Clearwater River, like Fort McMurray.
Yeah.
So anyway, we decided to get kind of tired of sitting around the campfire every weekend. It'd be nice to have a place that was secure, and because we liked the area, and well, let's become trappers now, So me and a buddy got into this trapline business, and there wasn't much there. It was an old cabin that the people we bought it from had been there for 50 years, and they built this cabin that was too bad we don't have a picture of that, but anyway, this old cabin was there, and they built this big enough for him and his missus, and 50 years ago, and kept patching it up and never did evolve into anything any better except more patchwork.
Yeah.
So anyway, they acquired a son, and so they had to add on a little bit, and that was the only remodel that happened to that cabin.
Because this is the property you bought this trapline, which actually gave you rights to how large of an area?
4.5 townships, which is quite a big area to trap, that had no cut lines or actually no access at all. But the old folks that ran the trapline walked everywhere. They had nothing. No, they used dogs close by the cabin, but they never ventured out into the wilderness with dogs.
Really?
They walked everywhere they went.
Wow.
So anyway, when we got there, we couldn't get even a bike 30 yards out of the yard because they'd walked everywhere.
Yeah.
So that was...
so there's no snowmobile trails, there's no decent trails or anything.
It's just walking trails everywhere.
Wow.
The old man used to put a pack sack on him and a wool blanket and head out and be 2 days in the bush with a wool blanket and a 22.
You're kidding me.
Yeah.
No further cabin out there, nothing. Like that's, he went out,
No.
trap all day, stay under his wool blanket.
Yeah.
See, folks, that's what I mean. That's the real deal. That's a generation before Jim.
Yeah.
Who he bought that from.
So anyway, that was quite impressive to us as, you know, with our toys of old screws. And when I started this thing, and, you know, not much for equipment, but when I started to work for Great Canadian Oil Sands, the trappers were the rich people in Fort McMurray because the fur prices were so great all the way up to 1985.
Oh,
That's when
yeah.
the fur prices started to go the other way.
Oh, yeah.
And they'd spend 3 to 5 months in the bush and come out with their furs maybe once during the winter, and to send some furs out at Christmas and get some little more cash flow. But
right.
And
then back in.
Yeah, and they'd be in the case of the folks that were on our line, they come in the fall with a V-stern canoe, and they were there till Christmas, and then they went out and came back again, and the missus stayed behind, and then they'd come in till breakup in the spring, and so that's how one piece of fur was 3 times what I made in a month. Like a lynx for $1,500 or $1,200.
Right.
It was I was only bringing home $1,000 every 2 weeks. You know,
so you could
working for Great Canadian Oil Sands.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying the trappers were the rich people. And so that's I'm still disappointed what happened to the fur industry, because I think it's sustainable.
Absolutely, yeah.
And, I'm not very impressed with what it done to the culture of the native people,
especially for the Indigenous people. Yes, it totally has taken that away.
And you know, it made a hole in the wall for them that they didn't recover from for a long time. So.
And Jim, aren't you really able to speak about that, because you know a lot of Indigenous people? Your wife is an Indigenous lady, I believe, as well.
Métis,
yeah. So I mean, these are your friends, your neighbors, your culture as well, right?
My dad was a farmer, or a trapper. I mean, off and on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, in his lifetime there.
Yeah.
Yes, it's. I've been there in McMurray 50 years, and over 50 years now. So the locals call me kind of local now. So I'm married a local person. So
yeah. Nice. So you got this Trapline. You've just moved on to it. It's got nothing but a small shack on it. The guy built the smallest addition just to house his one kid.
After 30 years.
Yeah. And now you got to deal with all of this, build trails, everything. What kind of equipment did you have? Do you have a snowmobile? Or?
Snowmobile and a little tiny chainsaw that
yeah.
The only chainsaw I needed was something to cut a little firewood while I'm jet boating,
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, so you had your jet boat to get up there. What boat did you have? I love boats, so.
I just sold my old girl here 3 months ago.
Oh yeah?
What I owned for 50 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice. The same boat?
Yeah.
Holy cow, you had a relationship with that boat. That was your boat, maybe.
Well, if you don't beat up on them, all you have to do is change the rotating parts.
Yeah, that's right. Take good care of it. Well, yeah, an old trapper knows how to maintain stuff, right?
Well, if you don't beat up on it, like I say, you just change the stuff that wears out. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's no dealership or mechanic close by, so you got to make sure stuff works.
To continue on with the story, I said there was just an old cabin, but there was a new cabin that had never been lived in.
Oh.
The son was the same age as me.
Oh, yeah.
Had built a cabin next door to this old cabin.
Oh, okay,
but
neat.
The family had never moved into it. So anyway, that was part of what we acquired when we bought the line. So we moved into the newer little cabin, which was, I don't know, 15 by 15.
Oh,
Probably.
yeah, okay.
Yeah. And a couple of bunk beds and one wall and a sink and, no plumbing or anything. It's just a pail under the sink.
And you and the wife? Any kids at this point?
No, just me and the wife.
You and the wife, your jet boat, your snowmobile, and your chainsaw.
There was kids, all right. My son, my stepson was with us too.
Oh, okay. You did. Okay.
Adventure.
Oh, yeah. How old was he?
He was probably 15 years old.
Oh, well, he was probably a good help for you then, huh?
Well, you know what a 15-year-old does. He's not much interested in trapping. got something else on his mind. Yeah.
He wants to do his own hunting and trapping for girls, not for.
Between girls and work.
Yeah.
He's a pretty busy guy. Yeah.
You didn't get too much help out of him.
I'm a day shift guy, so I've only got weekends off, so I got to make all this happen on weekends, eh?
Oh, yeah.
So
you're working your job for the oil company.
Yeah. So
working this on weekends.
That went on for about 15 years, and then I wasn't at Suncor anymore, so we evolved onto a full-time situation on the line.
Nice.
I moved on to the Trapline.
What year was that full time?
In the 90s, I would say.
Oh, in the 90s that you moved on to their full time.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So anyway, we started cutting trails and getting fur, and when when the times are good for chasing beavers and the times are good for chasing other things.
Right.
And we're learning.
Kind of depend on
we're learning as we go.
Yeah.
How to trap.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I bet. Because you're trapping wolves, right? You trap those sometimes?
I dreamt about chasing wolves for the first 20 years.
He told me about this. That's why I bring it up. I love this story.
And I don't think I'm alone with what I just said there, because they're pretty evasive. It took me a long time, and I didn't really have anybody around me that was good at it to coach me on how to do things.
Yeah.
This
is the days before YouTube, folks. Trial and error was our teachers back then, right, Jim?
Exactly. 30 years in the bush, though, since I moved to town, that's all I've been is on YouTube. And I've come to the conclusion, you don't need us old timers, you just go to YouTube.
Yeah, well, don't feel like that here. We need your stories and the times I've spent with you. Every time I talk with you, I learn something new. Just this morning, we were talking over coffee, and I learned something new. Yeah. You were telling me about the urine scent. Bring that up again. What was that?
Well, it's my understanding that Wolverine have got an extra gland that when they come into they're noted to be very aggressive, and when they smell like the wolves kill something and they smell the blood in the air, so they'll go to that kill.
Yeah.
And they're aggressive enough that they'll chase the wolves off momentarily till they can spread this exterminate, I don't know what the right word is for it, secrete use this gland to
come out in their urine?
Yeah. I don't know. It's an extra gland, I think.
Yeah.
Like weasels. And
Yeah.
Anyway, once this is secreted onto the bait they're on, nothing will eat it except them. So
now they no longer have to keep fighting to protect it. The others will give it up.
Now they got control of that bait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
Did you guys know that? Write down in the comments below. You learned something new from Jim here, didn't you?
Anyway, we progressed to try and cut some trails and get further and further onto the Trapline on our adventure in the bush there. And it got to be almost a full-time job for us. I mean, every season there was always something to do, and there was, you went from one thing to another as it, you're cutting trail. You don't want bugs, so you cut it in the spring or in the fall,
right?
When the leaves are gone and all this stuff. And, and then you walk trails for hours and hours to feasibility of making a trail.
Yeah.
And then you spend hours and hours cutting trail and to get access, Well, anyway, once we got some trails done and everything went pretty good, we didn't make a lot of money at it, but we didn't have much of an income as it was, so it was just supported that income, And we didn't have expensive sleds or anything. It was in the bush, something that doesn't burn much gas and a single cylinder. It's easier to maintain.
Right.
Old Bravos or old Tundras.
Oh yeah.
Potted around the bush, and they don't burn much fuel. So that's the kind of toys that we thought were best for that purpose. And
yeah, that makes sense.
You spend $10,000 on a sled. It takes 50,000 squirrels to pay for that.
So like you said, with your boat, then you're holding on to that equipment, you're maintaining it. because you need it. And yeah, there's not enough money to just go and buy another one.
No. Yeah.
I can't imagine that giant piece of property and you're building trails and everything through there. Now, like, because where was your closest neighbor?
Well, there isn't a Trapline on the map in Alberta that doesn't have a name on it. So every piece of real estate in Alberta in the green zone has got a name on it. So the only other trappers that do their thing in like from grassland or south is all farming, private land stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Below the green zone. So that's why a lot of the trapping's done by truck and all this stuff, because
they have roads
they
and
have
stuff
access
down there. Yeah.
They don't need the sleds and all these kind of Toyota quads and whatever, because they can do most of it by access with vehicles.
There's a lot of mining and all of that around there, so there's roads punched in all over, but not in your area. So your area, as I understand, the Clearwater Creek, which is famous for jet boating, folks. I've heard about this before. I've never been there yet. I'm gonna.
White Mud Falls is it's one of the prettiest places up there.
Yeah. I've sold jet boats to people that jet boat that river, and they've sent me pictures of that. I'll try and find one.
Yeah.
Beautiful place.
That's part of our Trapline.
Oh, it is, eh? Yeah. Oh, you're that far up.
Yeah, we're the last Trapline to the Saskatchewan border.
Oh.
Yeah, it's our river frontage there is 16 miles.
Really? Hey, wow.
It goes 10.5 miles deep.
Okay, now I get an idea of the size. Holy,
so it covers quite a bit of real estate. Not a lot of it's good for trapping. It's muskeg and a lot of stuff a lot of it you never see, and when you got that much area with no access with cup hunts. And we built another cabin way back at the other end of the line. There's a bit of a lake back there. And
nice.
We got into the back part of the line through cutting trails and stuff and see what's out there.
Nice. Yeah. Gonna make it to the back end. Yeah. And then that's a smart, put up a cabin there, because it's enough distance that you ever get stranded, you'd be darn happy to have that.
Spend some time out there, and you don't eat up so much travel time,
Yeah.
Because you only, in winter time, you only got 7-8 hours daylight.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so that was later on in our career up there. And quite a while up there, 40 years, 35 years for sure.
But there was no other house, like nobody lived around there. What would it take for you to see another person?
Just other trappers.
Yeah.
We had a trapper across the way that was doing his thing.
Oh yeah. Was he full time, or was he there half?
No, he was just recreational.
That's what I thought. You guys are the only full timers.
Just about everybody on the river below us was recreational too. I was quite unique. 3 years ago, when I finally couldn't do it anymore, I'm one of the rare breed that was still left in the bush on a full-time basis.
Exactly right. Yeah. That's why I'm so excited to have Jim on here with us. And Jim, you've invited me to your place before. I missed out on it this past year. You're not living on it full-time now?
No.
But we can maybe go back?
Well, it's almost turnkey up there yet. But
yeah.
With me not driving my boat anymore, it makes it kind of tough. You have to hire some help to get there.
Yeah. I'd sure love to see your place, though.
I have a friend group that takes us there once in a while because there's my culture with the jet boaters.
Oh, yeah.
So usually they throw us in the back and let's go for a ride.
And then you make it back to the place, the old homestead. Yeah. That's what it feels like, eh?
Yeah.
Wow. Right on. Jim, thank you so much for spending some time with us here today. Folks, there'll be more. I'm going to make it out to Jim's place, and we'll see if we can get a jet boat ride up to his old property and hear some more stories about hunting and trapping in the good old days. Thanks for watching, folks. More stories to come. One more shake. Thank you, my friend. Thank you.
Oh, I don't know if I give you what you wanted, but give you a little bit to work with, I guess.
Oh, yeah. That's it. I'll get a video out of that.